This is a New Tech production. This is a New Tech production. This is a New Tech production.
So what's good, everybody? I want to welcome y'all back to the Oddcast podcast with your boy Gary Gnu, aka G New. You know, I don't really want to say aka G New, but you know, G New, that's just another name that my peoples call me. You know what I'm saying? My peoples that rock with me, man. But we gonna do a segment in the show now where our camera guy Tom is gonna throw some questions at me and shit. We're gonna have like a little Q&A session right now, man. So Tylen, you know, whenever you're ready, man, throw some questions at me, kid, so we can give people the nitty gritty on what G New is all about. You know what I'm saying?
All right. What got you into hip hop?
What got me into hip hop? Hip hop was something that I stumbled across. I don't want to say stumbled across, but when I was probably around 9 years old, well, everybody knows Rappers Delight. Well, if everybody don't know, Rappers Delight, that was probably like the first rap song, my introduction into hip hop. And I can remember riding in the car, going to school, man, with my mom, and me and my brother like singing that song like on the way to school. The hip, the hop, the hippie, did the hip hop. You know what I mean? So growing up around that time, I'm talking about like the late 80s. Late 70s, early 80s was around the time. And I remember the whole breakdancing thing was going on. On the radio was playing hip hop. Late night, Power 99 and shit. Lady B. That was like my first introduction to hip hop, Power 99 and shit. Now I forget the name of her show, but that's the show that I used to tape with my little dual cassette. You know what I mean? And so yeah, I'll probably say around 8, 9, 10 years old was when I started really getting into hip hop. That's like the old school era of hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Did you ever break dance, or I guess you probably wouldn't DJ, but you break dance, the other 5 elements? Let's talk about the 5 elements of hip hop. People that don't know.
Yeah, 5 elements of hip hop. You got DJing, you got MCing, graffiti, did I say break dancing?
No.
Break dancing, and we found the fifth is knowledge, right? So out of those 5, you gotta have knowledge, you know what I'm saying? First of all, you can't be walking around no dummy. You gotta have some sort of intelligence about yourself, man. But DJing is something I always wanted to get into, man. But I never had the opportunity to learn how to scratch and how to DJ with 2 turntables. But I picked up a drum machine and I know how to work the MPC and shit like that. But I never learned how to work the 2 turntables, man. Graffiti. I used to do graffiti back in the day in elementary school and middle school, just tagging my name. Back in the day, my name used to be Chili G.
Don't incriminate yourself.
Hey, man, everybody had one of them old school names, man. Mine happened to be Chili G. My brother was So Fresh. My homeboy Lance was LC Def. You know what I mean? And we used to tag our name and write little rhymes, and we had rhymes and shit. Break dancing. I used to get my pop lock on a little bit. I wasn't like super nasty, super duper nasty. You know what I mean? But I was into break dance, and I was into all of that. I was kind of just take things from all the elements. You know what I mean? But I remember the movie Break In and Crush Groove and Beat Street, of course, was probably the best one. But yeah, man, hip hop is something that it's just been in my blood, man. It's just ingrained. It's in my DNA from a child, from a youth. You know what I mean? From a youth down. You know what I mean?
All right. Do you remember your first hip hop album?
Yeah, I do, man. The first hip hop tape, it wasn't an album. It was actually a cassette that was my own. Came from my godmother. Shout out to my godmother, Heaney. Heaney was my mom's best friend. Is my mom's best friend. Still friends to this day. But she got me LL Cool J. What was the name of his first album, man? Not I'm Bad. Oh my God. what was the name of LL's first album? Whatever the name of
Rock the
Radio.
Radio.
Was the name of LL's first album, and that was the first tape that I ever got, and I played that tape from front to back. It had of course I Can't Live Without My Radio. He had a song on there called You Can't Dance that I thought was funny as hell. He had that song on there, You'll Rock. What else he had on there? I don't know, but yeah, that was my first hip hop tape. Now the first hip hop record I would think would be from my dad. Shout out to my dad. He used to have a lot of hip hop records. Houdini, Escape, and he had Run DMC, King of Rock in his collection. He had like New Edition first album. So he would have like little hip hop albums. He didn't like me and my brother to go through his records and shit, man. But that was like my first introduction into records and having a turntable in the house and shit. My dad had a lot of records. That was also another introduction into not just hip hop, into music. You know, was my dad. He had a big record collection. He had records at his mom's house. He had records everywhere. And my mom is a singer, not like a professional singer, but my mom always sang. I always remember my mom singing growing up in the house, man. Just always humming a tune or just always singing some shit, man. So I think my whole music background comes from my parents. You know what I mean? I don't think that's the question you originally asked me, but just to double back or to piggyback off the question you asked me the first time about where my love for music or hip hop came from. You know what I mean?
And this is a hard one.
What's that?
Who's your favorite hip hop artist or group?
Damn, my hip hop. That ain't hard. My favorite hip hop artist, I would say, would be Redman. And I say Redman because Redman was the first rapper that I knew of that was really repping Jersey hard. Like nobody else that ever came out and repped Jersey the way that Redman did. Now, Poor Ratchet Teachers is from my hometown. They from the town. They did rep Trenton, and everybody knew that they was from Trenton. But Redman just, I don't know, man. He just took his Jersey representation to another level. I always felt, and not only him being from Jersey, him being from Newark, which was relatable. Me being from Trenton, you know what I mean. Newark ain't nothing but a hop, skip, and a jump away, a couple exits up from us. So you know that's the place where I would go. You know what I mean, to do shopping or you know what I mean, shit like that. So for him to, like I said, for him to rep Newark, that was crazy for me, man. And the dude was lyrically nice. He was down with Eric Sermon on the production. So Redman, I always liked the way that he moved, man. He always just seemed like a dude that was always himself, man. He never fronted for the cameras. He was never trying to cross over and you know, even though he was like worldwide and internationally known, but like I said, the whole time Redman always just maintained his own lane to me. You know what I mean? So Redman was always my I would say he would be my top rapper, my top entertainer. Well, not entertainer, just my favorite hip hop artist of all time. Now, my favorite group of all time, of course, is going to be A Tribe Called Quest. You know what I mean? A Tribe Called Quest was a group that I automatically just fell in love with their music, man. And they came out at a time when I was a teenager too. That was another group. I liked them because they were being themselves, where a lot of rappers or a lot of hip hop back then was trying to be like real street, real gangster rap. These guys were very Afrocentric. Guys were very conscious. You know, their aesthetic, they wore beads and they wore dashikis and you know, they just was presented themselves in a way that wasn't like your normal gangster rapper. You know what I mean? And their sound matched their look, their vibe. They had the dreads and just the nappy hair, and they just bought in. They just ushered in this whole culture that I kind of gravitated towards, man. So Tribe Called Quest has always been my favorite group. Shout out to Tip. Shout out to Jerobi, Ali Shaheed. Rest in peace, Fife Dog.
Yes.
And yeah, man, those guys, man, yeah. Tribe Called Quest, man. They were always number one for me. Still are. You know.
All right.